Curiosity always makes people hit harder. What are your thoughts on this? And when the curiosity is about how much you earn while comparing with your coworkers, how would you feel? For most of us, this might be a little invasion to our privacy, isn't it? This is where we introduce the general stigma of salary transparency in general. People tend not to believe all these kind of theories, mostly because they don't trust these things. In this scenario, there are plenty of researches stating all the advantages and disadvantages of pay transparency, including how some companies made out this theory successfully. Like every other action, there are necessary drawbacks to this. The last few years, the economy has been experiencing an unpredictable movement of salary transparency, with more and more companies sharing their pay information with their employees. The most important reason why people insist on transparency is to make sure to close the gender and racial wage gaps, thus enabling a smoothing work atmosphere. And adding to these another potential benefit is that you may be able to make more money. It is a common culture that when you get an idea about how much your coworker earns, we will use that information to negotiate with the higher officials to get yourself with higher salary. After all, when your company pays differently to someone else with you, same title and experience, this is injustice. By salary transparency, you will be able to identify the same and report it. For sure, it's tricky how salary negotiations is done. Nobody clearly wants to start an ungrateful and greedy fight with their boss, but if you are able to have a proper communication and a conversation, this would definitely help you increase your earnings, which is what we will be discussing here. The first and primary step in doing the same is by doing a proper research. It is always a better choice if you do a proper research on what you are planning to have a conversation, all the negotiations, and making sure that nobody is affected by your idea. This will be only possible if you are having a good reason why your company should reward you with the proper payment. That not too less than a normal or a medium payment. For example, doing a research on why your coworker is receiving a higher salary than you is important, which can be because of their educational qualification, that is, they might be having a higher education than you. Also, making sure you are eligible for a higher salary in the department you are working. Once you realize why you deserve the payment in your position, you can easily start negotiating for the same. For example, you may find that one of your coworkers is receiving a higher salary than you, but you are only paid a lesser amount. After understanding why they did the payment like that, you can argue for a raise to at least a standard salary that you deserve. The next step is to know your worth. You need to understand that in addition to identifying what others are receiving as payment and why they are being paid a higher amount, what you really need to understand is to know your own worth. And this includes knowing your skills, experiences, and accomplishment, and how capable you are, which should enable the company to add on the payment that you actually deserve. Which is why, if you are so sure that you can show your boss that you are worthy more than what you are paid, you will eventually move into a category that you deserve. On the other hand, if you are unable to show the same, you should reconsider asking for a raise. In all the situations, all you need to understand is that building a base is education and getting educated, and to vast experience is the key element to which help you to negotiate. Why should we encourage salary transparency? Because embracing such a transparency will attract more job seekers, especially young talent, and which eventually minimize the risk of turnover. Yes, the salary transparency is beneficial to everyone under all stipulations. It is clear that employees get benefits from the salary transparency by knowing how much their coworkers receive and having a positive negotiation for higher salary. And by this process, employers can easily make necessary adjustments to get closer to an equity in payment in the organization. Overcoming certain challenges are needed for an excellent thoughtful plan, which is why a plan has to be created before the execution. Simply publishing all the compensation a workforce is availed is not a good idea. Instead, doing a proper action before making unnecessary dramas. Discussing why we should concentrate on taking step-by-step procedures in organizing paycheck stability. One of the top reasons why employers stick to not only offer salary transparency is that they would reveal pay gaps between employees. The possible solution that we all could is to find and fix pay transparencies, and the race to the same is a pay audit only. Comparing both large and small companies, it is not an easy task to do a paycheck equity. Still, small companies tend to have it easily done, the paycheck equity. Using data to set salary range is another thing that everybody uses. Creating a database for every account is highly efficient and is a better way to eliminate bias. For the same, all you have to do is create a database of different salary levels according to their roles. And this particular sheet data can be of multiple accounts. Eventually, this enables a clarity in all accounts which an employee needs to know. Classification of these include a clarity in clarifying how similar jobs and their pays are included in a sheet, and this can be called payment of job grades and helps your organization or yourself, if you're planning to start a business, have a record of each tier of work. One of the best examples that can be provided here is a chart showing how salaries are classified like minimum, midpoint, and maximum, or according to the criteria name that is specified. A simple way to determine all these is to have a good calculation skills with the average idea of what is planning. For the same, you may find information on sites such as Glassdoor or Payscale. Overlapping is another term that affects salaries, so it is highly appropriate to mention about how overlapping helps in making career progress, and that too cost-effectively for employers, and that if it is less cool, it would create pay increase for internal promotions. Knowing on which spectrum has every employee have specified gives a definite idea on how much they are actually getting paid. All the salary bands have a clear range of compensation address for each level of their corresponding roles. Thus, analyzing a sheet of data, you will understand and you will be able to identify which employee is received highest payment and who is the lowest. As we did discuss all the possible ways to manage the transparency, it is to be noted that we haven't discussed about who would do the management of the compensation. According to Gartner, almost 70% of organization pays remuneration through managers. A proper communication is deeply necessary, and this would help the employees to respond to their manager other than directly to other employees. For some reason, even when they are trainees, the company or the organization was entitled to pay certain sum of money as a compensation or a payment for the work done by the employees. How can salaries or wages, whatever it may be, determined? Along with another incentive as such, all these can be only answered if you have an idea where an employee receives a payment or not. Or can he or she have a salary that falls within their salary band? Or it can be because of their skill and other specifications as such. Actually, everything that helps to earn create a clarity on how employees are earning. Always as the employer try to make a process and transparency about information with your employees that they are meant to know and how they will be compensated for their efforts evenly. This can also include how their bonuses are calculated and distributed or how they are given a raise. This motivates and encourages the employees to work harder than before. Hearing to what others have to say is quite an eccentric thing to be done for an employee, as if once one is solved, they can easily communicate. How about preparing a work that is supposed to be done later? Normally people tend to do is that doing and completing day-to-day work by using salary transparency brings you one step closer towards future-proofing your organization and your commitment. However, there are a lot of things, or what can we say, a lot more to can do that would improve your employees' peace in the workplace as an employer. Also, as an employee, you can ask your employer to create a similar peaceful atmosphere. All of this fuzz is about how you will be able to save a transparent salary. Confirming to what you have heard so far is easy if you utilize the money at the right place in the right amount. Hope you all liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment below and let us know what you want next.